Hello folks, it's Butter Bob. Today I'm going to show you my big fat belly as a way to keep me accountable. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you a little story. By the end of the video, you'll see why I'm telling both you and me this story. C.S. Lewis wrote a series of children's books about the fictional land of Narnia. The one we're going to talk about today is The Silver Chair. The story is about two children named Jill and Eustace and their quest to find the long-lost prince of Narnia. Along the way, they meet a strange creature named Puddle Glum. Puddle Glum was a marsh wiggle. He was very tall and long and lanky, and he seemed to be all arms and legs because they were so long. He wore a big pointy hat with a wide brim. He wore no shoes, and his big feet were webbed like a frog. And true to his name, Puddle Glum was glum. He was a doom and gloom kind of guy, folks, and he fully expects to meet his doom at any minute. He expects to fail, and he expects every sign to lead him in the wrong direction. Folks, let's just say that there was not a pair of rose-colored glasses within a mile of Puddle Glum. So Puddle Glum, Jill, and Eustace found out that the long-lost prince of Narnia, Prince Aurelian, was locked up way down below the ground in a dark realm called Underland. He was being held captive by the evil witch, the Lady of Green Kirtle. You know, a kirtle is an old-fashioned name for a long gown. The Lady of Green Kirtle, that evil witch, she was wearing a long green kirtle. I like the word kirtle. It's a strange word. And fairy tales need fun words like kirtle. And the evil witch, the Lady of Green Kirtle, was also very beautiful. You would think she'd be ugly, but no. She was beautiful because sometimes the things in this world that are beautiful are not always good. The Lady of Green Kirtle was no lady either. No, she had locked Prince Aurelian of Narnia in a magical silver chair. And as long as Prince Aurelian was fixed to that chair, he could not remember who he was. He had forgotten his whole story. So our three heroes, Jill and Eustace and Puddle Glum, they find Prince Aurelian and free him from the silver chair. And just when they thought they'd be free, and on their way back to Narnia, in walks the evil witch, the Lady of Green Kirtle. Our heroes tell her they are going back to the land of Narnia, to the land of sunshine and sky and Aslan, the great lion. But the evil Lady of Green Kirtle didn't miss a beat. Quick as lightning, she threw some enchanted green powder into the fire. And then she starts to play her lyre softly, very softly. She strums as the children become very sleepy, strumming and thrumming on her lyre. Thrum, there is no sky. Thrum, there is no sun. Thrum, there is no Narnia. Thrum, there is no Aslan, the great lion. Thrum, thrum, thrum. Her soft voice, her monotonous thrumming of the strings, and the mysterious green smoke from the fire were working. The children and Puddle Glum and Prince Aurelian were falling asleep. The children even began to repeat her words over and over. There is no sky. There is no sun. There is no Narnia. And saddest of all, folks, there is no Aslan, the great lion. But folks, you know what happened right then? Just as all hope was lost, something you never could have saw coming. The gloom and doom marsh wiggle, the glum Puddle Glum, the last person you would ever expect to become a hero, takes a giant step towards the green fire. You know what he did? Well, I'll tell you. Puddle Glum took his big bare foot and stomped out the witch's fire. Folks, his foot was so badly burned that it woke him straight up from the Lady of Green Kirtle's magic spell. He said one of the most beautiful things that's ever been written in a children's story. He told the evil Lady of Green Kirtle, the wicked witch of Underland, suppose this black kingdom of yours is the only world. Well, it strikes me as a pretty poor one. I'm on Aslan's side, even if there isn't any Aslan to lead it. I'm going to live like a Narnian, even if there isn't any Narnia. You know, in this world, we don't need an evil Lady of the Green Kirtle to cast a spell on us. The world has plenty of its own spells. The constant strumming, the thrumming has cast a spell on all of us. Thrum, it's your fault. You eat too much. Thrum, accept the way you are. Thrum, you should be ashamed of yourself. Thrum, why try? You'll just fail anyway. So how do we break this spell and wake up and start living in our own story? I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what Puddle Glum did. I'm going to put my feet in the fire. I'm going to take the embarrassment and shame of it all at once. And I'm going to silence the Lady of Green Kirtle who lives in my head once and for all. That Lady of Green Kirtle that lives in our head wants to keep us in the dark, wants to keep us ashamed and afraid. She whispers in our ears that we should just hide. And as long as we hide, she has power over us. When we come out into the light and accept the embarrassment and shame, we free ourselves from her spell. So folks, now is my Puddle Glum moment. All the things I've been afraid of gets burned up today. So here we go. I'm about to stomp the witch's fire. Here's me in September 2019, still looking like Butter Bob. This is 4 years after I went away from the channel. Here's me in 2020, the terrible year that the lockdown palooza hit the world like a ton of bricks. I was planning to open up full time for a long time. So at a scheduled time, I put in my 3 weeks notice. I left my job of 22 years and I planned to open on a certain day in 2020. Then, folks, the sky fell. The very day that I had scheduled to open full time for the first time, the lockdowns happened. I had put everything I had in this business. If it failed, I would probably lose everything, plus the job I had for many years. So folks, I put my nose to the grindstone and went to work. We had to do appointments and everything, but we got through that terrible year. And even though in the beginning of 2020, I still looked like Butter Bob, but the thrumming had begun. Here I am in September 2021. 18 months later, the weight is increasing. The stress of the business is increasing. And here I am in April of 2022, a little over 2 years from the trim bob of March 2020. And here's August of 2022, 2 years and 5 months after March 20. I'm bigger still. And here's August 2023, even bigger. And then I have 2 pictures from May 2024, a little over 4 years. I'm no longer Butter Bob. I have become Butterball Bob. And finally, March 2025, a full 5 years from that first video of me in 2020, the thrumming of life had taken its toll. Now, folks, my Puddle Glum moment, the thing that I fear the most, has arrived. But I'm not fearing it. I'm putting my foot in the fire. I'm stomping that fire. The fire is hot and it's going to be embarrassing, but here goes. As you can see, folks, I got a ways to go. But I tell you, after tonight, I'm no longer ashamed or embarrassed. This is me. This is where I'm at. And now that I'm free of that, I'm just going to live it. And I'm going to soon be Butter Bob again. You know, I'm going to live like a Narnian long before anyone can see any Narnia in me. Here's a comparison of me before I started the diet in 2013. And the one on the right is me now. Obviously, I'm pretty fat, but at least I'm not as big as I was when I first began the diet back in 2013. I'm thankful for that. Sometime in the months ahead, I'll be Butter Bob again. Before we finish this video, I want to show you the deceptive nature of the scale Folks, the scale is not your friend. I have a very close friend, and we're about the same height. And we've been kind of doing this diet together. He's about 5'11", and I'm about 5'11", some roughly in that neighborhood. Now, my weight was 266 when we weighed, and his weight was 264. But I want you to look, folks, look at this chart. Look at his measurements. Same height, basically the same weight, but his belly is 3 inches smaller than mine. He looks much trimmer, but the scale's not showing it. See what I'm saying, folks? Use the tape. Use your belt. Use your pants. If they're falling off, if you're able to pull that loop a little tighter on the belt, you're doing good. Forget the scale. Now, folks, I want to show you one last picture and a quick video. You know, by early next year, I'm going to look like this guy that's in this picture. This picture was taken in 2014, and the video was taken on the same day in April of 2014. At this point in my diet, this is months before I made Butter Makes Your Pants Fall Off, I had lost down to a good weight. And I was proud of myself, so I took some pictures. But folks, this gives me a record, something I can see and look at for the future, because this is who I'm going to be again. This is who I'll be again by February or March of 2027. You know, maybe you've drifted off to sleep like me. Maybe you've been hearing the strumming and the thrumming for a long time now. Maybe you're scared to make that first step because she's been whispering in your ear. Well, if you're scared like me, go ahead and join me. Stomp the fire. Yeah, it'll burn, and maybe it'll be embarrassing, but you'll wake up from the spell. You'll silence the evil lady of green kirtle that's whispering in your ear. You'll leave the dark realm of Underland and set out for Narnia. Let's you and me start living like Narnians again, even though no one can see the slightest sign of Narnia in us. I can see it. Can you? I hope you can. So in this holy season of Lent, may the true Aslan, Christ Jesus, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, bless you and give you the courage to stomp the fire and resurrect the new you, that new Narnian you. Goodbye, folks.